Don't Give Up Your Day Job, a local musician's guide. By me, Paul Gillings. An educational and sometimes humorous look at what it's like to be part of the local music scene. Hello and welcome to another edition of Don't Give Up Your Day Job with me, Paul Gillings, talking about the highs and lows, pitfalls and triumphs of being on a local music scene. And I'm very pleased to say that the young talent, that is Ryan Redwood, is in the studio with me today. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, how are we?
I'm all right, mate. How are you doing?
Yes, mate, not bad, not bad.
Thanks for getting up at this time of 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No
after
worries.
You especially had a gig last night,
That's
didn't you?
2 hours earlier than I normally be.
Is
up.
it? Have you given up your day job as yet, or are you working somewhere?
Not yet. I've got to work, mate. Got to pay the bills, yeah.
I was going to say, I did get a very early text from you about 5:30 one morning. I was up already because I was going to work. So, what is it you do out of interest?
I work at Dunelm.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, like on the deliveries and stuff like that.
I see, yeah.
It's very boring.
Yeah,
it's not interested at all.
Food for songs, mate, is what it is.
Exactly,
you know? Bruce Springsteen has made an entire career out of talking about shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, dear.
So that's cool. So, Ryan, tell us a little bit about what you're up to musically at the moment.
Well, I used to be in a band called The Only Route. That would have been the latest band I'm in. Before that, British Rejects.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you both about those because when I first met you, you were in T.OR, or The Only Route, and we were on the same bill. Charity Day in Norwich, I don't know if you remember. I was on just before you playing my acoustic guitar. I just started writing songs again after a 15-year break.
That's crazy.
And I was writing some songs and I had my little blues album, my little You Don't Even Know About, and you guys were on after me.
Oh, right. Were we any good?
Yeah, brilliant. I said to you, do you remember your hair was longer?
Yeah.
And I said to you, I've got T.OR on next. I was doing me patter.
Yeah. Like
I said, I've been watching your YouTube videos. Awesome, mate. And you went, cheers, bud.
That sounds like me at the back going, cheers, mate. Thank you. Oh,
these fresh faces going on after me. So those the two bands you've been in sort of up till now, and you're doing solo stuff at the moment.
Yeah, well, I took a break after British Rejects, I went straight into like the T.OR stuff, and that was very like quick. I didn't really have time to process anything, so we just me and Andy, the bass player at the time, just went, right, we're just going to keep going and get wherever and see what happens. Went on a couple of tours and stuff, and then I just sort of got to a point where I felt like I was doing everything. Yeah. And I was like, what's the point in being a band if I'm doing everything anyway?
I do want to get into that with you, actually, because I did want to talk about, and for me, it's a big thing as well, because I was in bands for years and years and years, and then done solo projects. Yeah. And I want to sort of do a little, if we can, throughout the sort of core of this conversation, do a compare and contrast to what it's like being a solo act. Yeah. To being in a band, right? Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so for you, it's a fairly recent transition. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. Been solo for probably a year now. I think I come up on one of the memory things on like Facebook when you get memories come up. It's like you've got memories with. I think it was like December just gone was the first single I brought out as a solo artist. Yeah. And I didn't know at that time whether I'd carry on. It was sort of like put the demo out. If people are into it, then I'll carry on. And luckily, people were into it. Like if there was no one into it, I'd have probably just gone, it's all right. We'll keep it like silent for a little bit, maybe in the future. But because people were into it, got like a bit of radio play and stuff, I thought, let's carry on then.
So you're still doing all the promotion yourself?
Yes.
Just for your own single, as opposed to the bands and stuff like that. So did you find the band? So first of all, it was British Rejects, was it?
British Rejects.
So I couldn't find anything on Spotify and stuff like that. Did you have stuff out there?
We did have stuff out there. Yeah, I think that just all after because we're not paying for like the distributor or anything. Right, I guess that sort of just goes after a certain point in time. But yeah, we were on Spotify, on YouTube, and everything like that. But yeah, like say at that time, that was sort of like my first band, like fresh out of like high school. So that was all kind of like weird learning it as we go anyway.
Well, what I find interesting from your perspective is that being a young man, and like I said just before, I don't want to play too much on the you're young and I'm old and stuff like that. Yeah. But the people I've had on it so far have talked about with a few exceptions, talk about the transition of. Having not about promotion being something that you do on flyers or the record companies, traditional record companies do, to being more of a DIY musician and doing that everything yourself. Now, you've had that from day one.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much,
Okay,
yeah.
so how did you... Was it something that was just innate to you? Did someone say, here's a book for Christmas, young man, on how to do digital marketing 101? Did you do it at school?
Well,
I'm fascinated. Do you have a chip inserted when you're born?
You're going to do this one day.
Yes, this is which we have here. We shall have a digital marketeer. A chip for digital marketeer, please. Base of spine. Gosh, there you go. Tagged for life. Because you seem really on it.
Yeah.
You know, when I watch your social media stuff, was it something innate? What did you do?
I think you learn a little bit, like Photoshop and stuff was at school. I'd have learned that in IT, like at the age of probably like 14.
Jesus,
like that.
That's really fascinating to me because I'm a graphic designer for a living. I'm an art editor for magazines.
Yeah, of course you are.
And I taught myself to use Photoshop when I was about 21, 22.
Yeah.
When I was working on a factory floor, and long boring our story, I've told people before, but I stole the software from the company having no idea. I didn't even have a computer at home. I didn't even know what one was. The last time I'd used a computer at high school were these Archimedes things that did word processing. So you did Photoshop at school?
Yeah, at school. I don't know if it was officially part of like the curriculum or whatever you call it, but it was on all our computers and stuff, and we had to do a few bits, and most like software programs and stuff, like all the Microsoft stuff we all used and stuff. So I think we got like taught how to properly word an email at like the age of like 12, 13 and stuff like that. So that was a bit of a hand up straight away. Yeah. And like I say, Photoshop come in about when I was about 14, 15. And then I went home and I was like, that is well expensive. I'm not going to buy that. It's like, Dad, what? Can you buy it? He's like, that is well expensive. I don't buy that. So I was using the free like version, like GIMP, I think it's called.
Yes, yes,
I still use that sometimes now for things because I'm just better at that than I am Photoshop. But obviously, there's ways around to getting Photoshop for free, which we'll keep that.
We don't endorse.
Which we don't endorse.
Don't condone and nothing about.
Go buy it legally.
Your honour.
So yeah, and through school and stuff, sort of picked up a few bits, and I think naturally, with my sort of generation, we are sort of more tech savvy in a way.
Social media more than anything else. You're not afraid to post things out there. Whereas, I think people my generation, and talking to myself and guys my age, we think very long and hard before we put a post together.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas you'll just post stuff.
Just bang straight out there.
But having said that, my friend John Peach, Love Songs for Losers, is very much just stick the microphone, stick the camera in front.
He loves it, doesn't he? It's like every day. I swear he's putting things out. I'm like, that is mad.
Mate, on his way up the stairs here, he dropped 5 songs out of his pockets because he's got so many.
You're going around.
Shit,
I'll have
pick
that
up
one.
his songs. John, you dropped all these songs. Oh, I've got thousands, mate. Don't worry about it. So the social media and the marketing was something that was sort of your generation in school and well.
Yeah.
So tell me about your music then. How did you get into music? Have you got musical parents?
No, this is the thing. I haven't at all. Like where Mum always used to say, "You must get my voice from me," and then I've heard me Mum sing, and it's like, I hope not.
Am I that bad?
No offence, Mum, but come on.
Am I shit?
Am I that shit? Yeah. And Dad loves music. Like that's where I get all the '90s stuff from. Is like my dad.
He must be my age.
my mum, like with the Stone Roses, that was her put Dad onto them when they were started going out and stuff like that. So that was where like the influence part come from. But none of them are musical. I started when I was about, I think I was like 12, 13, and Azza Lambert.
Yes, I know. He's a lovely bloke.
Yeah, me and him used to be like best mates through like middle school and a little bit of high school and stuff. And he'd always played guitar for as long as I know him.
I want to get him on for a chat. He's a very interesting guy.
He brought his guitar around one day, and I said, let's have a go at that. And he taught me like Smoke on the Water, the bass line version of it. My fingers were like, what is this? You know what I mean? And I learnt that, and then we learnt a couple of Arctic Monkeys songs together because they're dead easy to learn.
Are they? I don't know any.
Really easy, mate. Yeah. It's like 1 and 2 string stuff. Really easy.
Well, the simplest stuff is it's always about the heart. I find for these songs, isn't that what punk was all about, which was a generation before me. Yeah. And as we were discussing before me showing off my Oasis singles from the day, because I know you're a big Liam Gallagher fan. Yeah. The Oasis songs are fairly
really easy, simple,
simplistic to play and chordally. Yeah. However, they're played with so much heart, so much bollocks, and so much front That's the bit we really like, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
we don't care if it's a 1-4-5 progression. We care that the attitude behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
We,
and the delivery and all that sort of stuff, and
so
having a bit about you as well, I think helps in that. Yeah.
I think for being any sort of front man and any sort of thing that, like, and this goes back to the DIY musician thing, isn't it? Being the full package.
Yeah.
So you've got to be a marketeer, you've got to be a musician as well, and you've got to have the front to it as well.
No pressure, is there?
No, I think I've been missing that last bit as well. I've never been great on the hustle.
Yeah.
I've never been great on the look at me, hello.
To be fair, that's the one thing I'm learning now on my own. Like when I'm with a band, I felt more not confident, but you feel like if you say something stupid, they'll back me up.
So like got a group of boys with you?
Yes, like the lads.
Like the guys in the pub are always more confident if they've got 3 blokes.
Yeah, and then once I've had a few drinks and I'm on the mic and I start having a go at like Billy over there or something like that. Yeah. But when I'm on my own, I'm like, oh shit, he might knock me out later. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if these are with me, it's all right.
There's awkward silences or whatever. Yeah.
So I get that definitely.
I used to have a drummer who was, if I started talking for too long or started getting in trouble, he would start the next song. It's just like, all right, Paul, shut up now. Just start the song.
That's what our old drummer was like as well.
He's got into trouble. I'll start going for it. He'll get there and shut up.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So it sounds like a pretty good grounding, and I really relate to the non-musical family / musically interested family, because although my parents are absolutely musically inept, and so are my siblings and cousins and everybody else, there was a love of music in our house, and my dad was very much into like the Beatles and the Stones, Rolling Stones, and Queen. There was a lot of Queen, of Queen going about, hell of a lot of Queen, and my mum was into 50s and 60s pop music. Yeah. And Motown, a hell of a lot of Motown. I always find so much Motown.
My mum and dad are the same. Like I always find that like my mum's into like the older stuff, and dad's onto the stuff that's was spawned from that older stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, that's interesting. So you feel like you got a good breadth of.
There's like a big wide range
listening knowledge, isn't it? Because I think music is sort of 90% listening, isn't it?
Definitely,
before you output it and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So with the band then, did you find that your bandmates? I take it you didn't form a band with Azza, did you?
No, I didn't.
He did his own thing.
No, he went off and did his other band. At the time, they had a band called Milestone with Sam Wilson, who I'm doing my tunes with now. He's like my producer. I want to get on
to ask you about Sam, because I use Raoul Crane from Blaze.
Yeah, we used to use him in the bands.
And it looks like you use the same kind of thing. Yeah. But we just stick this one for a minute.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's good. I want to get back to it. It's all really interesting. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. But I wanted to talk about, did the other members of the band then want to share those responsibilities with you?
Yeah, the British Rejects, the first band, it was very more.
So how old were
collective.
You at this point?
I would have been 15, 16, I think.
Okay, so we can forgive the sort of innocence of youth, and when we're teenagers, there are certain things that don't occur to us.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. For sure. So did you find that with your bandmates?
Yeah, and I think, because our guitarist, Owen, at the time, brilliant guitarist, but he was always a couple of years younger than us. So I discovered him in like a rehearsal room at school when we were doing music, and that was actually Azza who said, oh, he's really good at guitar, get him in your band. And I was like, oh yeah. So I went, spoke to him, whatever, and he was always sort of like learning / catching up with us. There was a weird dynamic because we're a couple of years older. Yeah. And he was sort of in that, especially like with music and stuff, that like vital age where you are growing as a person and getting towards your later teens. Yeah. So it was always a balancing act. But yeah, we sort of shared responsibilities for a while. And then I just felt, because I was always trying to push, like my ambition with music has always been really like high, and I've always been like, if you're going to do it, we're going to do it properly.
Yeah, and there's no offence to the other guys in the band, because I had that with the Harpoon Blues Band, and we played on, we did the thing on the One show. On BBC One, which was part of their Green and Pleasant Land thing. Nice. And we played down there. I mean, I'd been playing in that band for 14 years, not really taking it seriously. We did 3 or 4 gigs a year and stuff like that. And we got on TV, and it really got some traction, and it got some attention. And I thought, I want to ride this. Yeah. I've not been interested in being, in getting anywhere with my music or making it my living for nearly 20 years, but this is sparking something in me. Yeah. And the rest of the guys didn't want to. And that was completely fair enough, although it bugged me at the time, and I was like, you guys are dragging me backwards here. I'm like trying to freaking get somewhere, and you boys are killing my buzz. Yeah. I come up with these gigs, and I pushed us, and I feel in retrospect, I feel quite bad that I forced them into like 35 gigs the following year.
Bloody hell, yeah.
So we went from 2 to 3, playing the Triangle, 3 times a year, and the Loddon Swan, to then playing everywhere.
Yeah.
And still in the county, so it wasn't even travelling. I was like, we should take this to London. We should get down here. We should play this blues festival in Burnley. And they were like, what are you talking about? Are you fucking mental? And I was doing social media posts, and they were like, you're going to piss people off with all that social media. I'm like, once a week? Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because we didn't understand. We didn't get it.
Yeah,
and also, they didn't want to.
Yeah.
And that was fair enough. Yeah. Is that where you kind of got to?
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, the pivotal point for us with the Rejects, we come back off a UK tour. The tour went really well, and it felt like we were finally going to, like, sort of not get somewhere, but do something with it a little bit. How did you get this UK tour? Well,
what was it? Was it sort of... Because I'll tell you something.
Go on.
Danny and I went down to Camden, Fiddler's Elbow. Yeah. Sound familiar?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And we're sat there having a beer, and I look up on this pillar,
and
there's a sticker, and it says T.OR, the only route.
Yeah.
I was like, Ryan was here, look. So was it gigs, or was it open mics?
It was a proper gigs. Like the UK tour with the Rejects was done through a management company at the time, and we sort of, I don't know, it was a weird one. It was we sort of paid him to put the gigs on, but we'd made the money back on the tour.
You see, we got,
and it was dodgy.
Dan and I got offered something similar to this. It said, we can get you, we can promote you and get gigs. However, you have to sell, and this even happened to us in a band I was in the 90s called Nexus. You've got to sell 25 tickets.
Yeah.
You sell 25 tickets, and then the next time you'll go further up the bill.
Yeah.
So you'll have to sell 40 tickets.
Yeah, that sort of stuff's old, isn't it?
This was 1999, and we hired 2 minibuses.
Yeah.
And drove 2 minibuses full of mates and sold these 25 tickets.
Yeah.
Right? These 2 12-seater all the way to fucking London for a 45-minute set.
Yeah.
But it looked great on, we sort of put a bit in the paper and stuff, like, obviously, so there was no social media just then, in its infancy. Well, the internet was in its infancy, but I don't think it was the social media. And it looked great, and people still talk about that, but none of the other bands had bothered.
No.
None of the other bands
that's what I mean. Like,
at all, bringing any audience. You go to these things and you play to other bands.
Yeah.
Right, so there was a sort of mixture of those kind of things.
Definitely. Like I say, we give the guy the money. He put on, like, to be fair, the gigs were in a nice place as well. Like,
that Fiddler's Elbow's cracking.
That Fiddler's Elbow's a really good place, and there was some nice venues on there. All the sound guys were really lovely. Like, everyone involved with it was really, really good. But like you say, it was just playing to other bands and their mums and dads, and then because we were so young, my dad was with us. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, manager's here, inverted commas. Do you know what I mean? He's the manager. He's not my dad. I'm 18. I am legal to be here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was odd, and like I say, we made the money back from each gig sort of thing. It was like a £50 fee for each gig or something like that, and plus whatever you'd sell or whatever, like merch and stuff like that. And then we come off that UK tour, and then BBC Introduced and sort of started to pick us up, which was the first time in 2-3 years we thought, right. And obviously they'd obviously seen what the tour was like or whatever, started playing us and stuff, and then we did a gig for them at the Open.
Awesome.
And there was quite a few people there, sold a few tickets and that. And then after that, the band wanted to do something else, and I was like, why? And
what else did they want to do?
Well, they wanted to take the music in a different direction, because we were quite like, we weren't heavy rock, but we were quite like punky, like alternative rock sort of thing. Punky, and they wanted to go into like the pop punk sort of route. And I was like, at the time, I'd got out of that stage of life, and I was like, I don't really want to be the next like Green Day or something. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really appeal to me. I thought,
was it I'm not that angry anymore?
Yeah,
was it?
I was calming down.
Like
like with my music now, it's a lot more like indie rock, like say like the Oasis and all that sort of stuff. Influences coming through, and I wanted to do that in the band, and then that was it really. We just started to do different things, and then that was the end of the British Rejects, and then T.OR was born.
So you took with you the bass player?
Yeah, Andy came with us because he was begging me, bless him. He's like, please take me with you, mate. I've got nothing to do otherwise. I was
bass
like, all right, mate,
Bass players,
bless you. I was like, yeah, come on in, Andy, mate, let's start a new band.
And you did T.OR and same sort of thing, little tours
same
like
sort
that.
of
Because I
thing.
found with the BBC Introducing is they're great when they're introducing, and it does what it says in the tin, in that they introduce you, and you'll do a little gig. They'll play your song a couple of times, maybe if you're lucky.
If you're lucky,
then then kind of fresh air. I guess do you feel that there's an expectation to that? Because this happens, to be honest. I'm a blues man in the main, and this happens with the UK blues scene as well. You get introduced and you play on a small stage and stuff like that on these blues festivals, like I have done and stuff like that, and sometimes paid to be there, and then you're expected to elevate to the next level. Yeah, and if you don't, move aside, mate, there's new acts.
There's someone else.
Do you feel it was a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's hard because I, relating to that, when I started the solo stuff again, I was I put a big video up and stuff on Instagram, let's tag BBC Introducing loads and absolutely spam them, so they've got no reason not to play me. Do you know what I mean? Get me in their eyesight and let's see if they'll play. And they never did, and obviously they've gone, oh, he's a bit of a twat.
Do you use the BBC uploader for
I
that?
do, yeah.
Yeah, because for those that don't know out there, the two people that are listening, probably me and Ryan, to our own voices, there's an uploader on the BBC website. You create yourself on BBC iPlayer, or is it the Sounds?
BBC Sounds now, isn't it?
You create yourself an account and you can upload your own MP3, can't you? Put a little description
bio,
and then you put out what genre, and they'll assign you, because I got assigned originally to BBC Introducing. You say what region you're from as well, because I got assigned, so I got a few plays on Radio Suffolk, and then got put forward for the Keris Matthews Blues Show, which they played a track of mine on as well, which is really tasty. Very, very pleased with it. But bands, use the BBC uploader, please do, because we've definitely got some great results from that, haven't we?
Like I say, I always felt like Suffolk never played any of the band stuff, any of my stuff, but Norfolk were a little bit into it. Yeah. But I think the region lock sort of not ruins it a little bit, because I get why they do it, of course, because then they'll pass it on if they think it's whatever. Okay. But I think they should just put it on there, and it should be accessible by everybody.
Well, this is it. It's flying in the face of the global distribution power of the internet these days, where we upload it to Spotify and anyone in the world can listen to it. Why then limit it to local radio? Yeah. And that I then find it, and it bugs me, and it shouldn't. But I find it then bugs me because I feel like I've got this stigma of being a local. In inverted commas, musician. And although I am a local musician, and this is a local scene, and I'm very proud, and this is the grassroots, and I love playing around here, and love involving artists such as yourself and everybody else who's been on here, and I hope to get on here in the future. Azza, if you're listening, please come on. So you kind of would like to hope that your music has a broader base. I
think especially, there's a lot of artists, if you listen to BBC Radio Norfolk or whatever now, I think a lot of the music they play is some of it up north or in Manchester or Sheffield or wherever, they'd probably have a bigger scene for it. Right. So why not push it and say, this might be more suited to that area?
Or in Japan. My biggest from Apple Music, I get about 35, 40 plays a week on Apple Music.
Sounds like me, yeah.
Yeah, the majority of which are in Japan.
See, that's crazy.
Because they love their blues, because they love their rock and blues.
They do love rock and roll as well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So why limit it? Like you say, we can see why they do, because they want to be part of the grassroots, and they have these local radio stations that want to show an interest in the community, and that's why we pay our licence fees. But at the same time, it does feel limiting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because you always feel like you're hitting a ceiling. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it's
I've got to start again now. I've got to start again now. And I think that relates also as well. That starting again, that beast to be fed is the social media as well. I mean, God, you need some energy to keep feeding that social media beast, don't you?
Yeah, big time.
I mean, I feel that content-wise, you seem to have rolling ideas. Yeah. But I get really dry.
Honestly, if I've got nothing, I always feel like at the moment it's great because I've got the tour to promote and all that. I've got obviously the single.
You've got
coming
content.
Out.
You've got content coming out of your ears.
Whereas before Christmas, me and Sam were just in the studio. I can't just post a picture of the studio every day. Do you know what I mean? Everyone will be like, this is well boring. Unlike, do you know what I mean? Unfollow or whatever.
I do the other thing. I start posting pictures of, I bought a new harmonica. Yeah. So I get a bunch of harmonica players come on board. Yeah. Now, harmonica players, in my experience, in general, obviously there are some, people that I move in circles with who are very broad-minded, like their blues, like their harmonica, how they like it, and that's it. I don't play like that. No, yeah. So it's great while I'm posting pictures of harmonicas that they want to play, but then when I hear them play them, they go, I don't like it playing like that. It's too many notes. It's a bit loud. And it's a bit high and stuff like that. And we don't. It's a bit rocky. And it doesn't really sound like Sonny Terry. So it's a funny thing, isn't it? You think you're getting followers for one thing, and then you and then sort of you go and post what you actually wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But you try and balance it. So my philosophy it has been, and perhaps you'll help me out or help the people listening out with, is I just post what I like and what I'm up to.
Honestly, it's the best way.
Is that the only thing you can do?
It's the only. I think it's the only thing. Like I've tried, like I say before, trying to like think of like a target audience and putting like in your hashtags, like hashtag Oasis, hashtag whoever. Do you know what I mean? Just doesn't work. I feel like be yourself, like you should with anything really, and just post.
Yeah, that's it. So much easier said than done, though, isn't it?
It is. Honestly,
it's such a cliche, but it's one for a reason.
Yeah,
I think it's the most difficult thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the hardest thing in the world, just trying to be yourself and trying to portray yourself, because you don't. I feel like life is like, without getting too deep, you don't really.
This is a safe place to get deep, dude. This is fine.
I feel like
honestly.
You don't really know who you are ever. There'll be points where you have clarity and you go, oh, that's who I am today, or this is who I am this week. But things can change, circumstances can change and stuff like that. So just be more in the moment. Be like, this is who I am today. Do you know what I mean?
This
sounds really silly,
no,
but you know
not
what I mean?
Because it's all you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Let's face it. Even those brash moments, and I don't want to touch on it too much, but there was on your Spotify profile, so it's not like it's
public knowledge, mate.
It's not a
secret.
It's not a secret. But you talked about the doubters.
Yeah.
So was there a time where you were getting some negative social media bits, or was that? I want to say, and I mean, this is just my assumption. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But was it at the time where you were switching from solo band to solo and stuff? It was
more. No, it was more in the bands and stuff, because I think the way, like, going back to British Rejects again, we started as a covers band and we were not a very good covers band. We were awful.
But to be honest, being a covers band, you'll only be second best to the original artist.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? But we were like,
but nonetheless, there are good.
Best, do you know what I mean? We were shocking. Oh, dear. And that was at a point where I never sung. Like, I never knew how to sing until we've messed around with like female vocalists and stuff for a bit, and then I was like, right, we haven't got a singer. Ryan, you can shout. And I was like, okay, let's do some shouty stuff then. And then that was it. And then I sort of learned how to sing. Well, how to sing. You don't really learn how to sing.
I fell into it as well, because I moved to Lowestoft from Yarmouth. And tried to get in bands as a harmonica player, and no one wanted one. So eventually one guy said to me, well, can you sing? I said, well, I used to be in the school choir. How difficult can it be? So I went and took like classical singing lessons and stuff like that, and I did barbershop quartet at A-level music as well. Nice, So like I ended up being the main singer for this band Nexus, and played about 4 bars of harmonica in one song, which was insane. And it just followed me through. So then being the lead singer in the Harpoon Blues Band, because it's blues, you can get away with a lot more. You can growl and shout, and the more I smoke, the better I sound.
The better you sound,
my own ears as well. So what? These doubts.
A lot of the doubts crept in from the cover band days, and then when we started doing originals and stuff, it was really, really hard to try and get people to listen to it.
Okay, so have they been used to play that song we know? My friend Claire used to turn up to my gigs and just shout, "Play Oasis!" Not a joke, seriously. She used to shout it all the time because she knew that we would do that because we were a blues band.
Yeah, of course.
So she would shout that just to heckle.
To it,
So was it like that? People were expecting play my favourite song.
I guess so.
There, do you think?
Especially because we did the transition. Well, the transition happened when we got rid of one of our drummers, and that's when Sam joined the band. And then he was like, I don't really want to do covers, let's do originals. So I was like, all right, I've got some tunes, let's start writing. Do you know what I mean?
Is this Sam your engineer?
Yeah, Sam at the moment.
So he's been like a fair influence right the way through?
I've known Sam for years now, And so he come in the band, was drumming and stuff, and he's like, right, let's start the originals properly. So we scrapped all the covers, but I think we still had like covers gigs booked, and that doesn't help.
It's gonna be awkward.
So we turn up and we're like, right, how are we going to do this? We could play a few covers, like mostly originals, but sort of keep it balanced in a way. And every time we played an original song, that was just because they're the type of places they were, like pubs who expect covers.
So going quiet and stuff.
Going quiet, like.
Because I've talked about this with other bands, and we used to. I was in a sort of covers band in the 90s. I'd learned to play guitar a little bit, and I bought this gold Les Paul and a Rickenbacker and stuff like that, and we did some Oasis covers. Now we used to slip in two original numbers, and a couple of people didn't notice. So
that's good.
Was that the aim? Was that
that was sort of the aim? Slip them in, and then hopefully at the end they go, "That catchy one. I don't know who is that." Oh, that's us.
I've had a couple of pods in here said that. Oh yeah, I love that tune. My mate Tony Graham, Rag and Bone Man's dad, was saying that. He said, "Yeah, we had someone come up and go, oh, who's that by? Oh, it's by us." Which is the absolute holy grail.
Yeah, of course it is. That's the best feeling in the world. That is like,
right.
When someone's gone, don't care about the other covers. What is that song? You're like, oh, thank you. That's quality.
It's so good. It sounded like a cover by somebody else.
Yes, that good. Yeah. Oh, you didn't write that, did you? Yeah, I did.
Well, you know, I try. I'm honest and shit. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think, like I say, the transition was all a bit weird, and then we had a lot of doubters because I think at the time, it was at a time where the local scene was not toxic. I hate using that word, but it was a bit odd. There was bands breaking up.
When are we talking about time-wise then?
This would be like 2015,
2014,
around that time. There was bands that were breaking up and stuff. Like Sam was in Az's band Milestone, and then they broke up, and then he joined us, sort of thing. So I don't know if there was any bad blood there. But that was a bit odd. And then there was like other bands, I can't remember what they were called now, but there was someone else who broke up at the time. And then like the Inside Click, we never really got into that.
No,
really.
I've never been in it, mate. Never at all.
You know exactly what I mean then, yeah. Like
I've never been cool.
No, like we were always trying, like not trying to be in it, but it was like, well, if we get in it, then surely more people are going to like it. Do you know what I mean?
This is what I mean. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. And I think we've come to my whole point of trying to be part of and create a local music scene.
Yeah.
And what you wanted to do was be part of the scene. You don't want to be in or out or anything.
Out, yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's not a circle or a club to be in, is it?
Exactly, yeah.
It's a scene that we're all part of.
Yeah.
And I think if there's more of helping each other out and doing gigs together.
Exactly, yeah.
And there was an awful lot of that when I was a young man over in the Yarmouth music scene.
Yeah.
I was talking about that with my friend Peter Stopforth as well, and because he was part of the Lowestoft scene in the sort of late 90s. And there was very much a scene where bands would play support to each other or double billing as they would call it and stuff like that. Yeah. So we don't have to get our egos bruised.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that kind of fell out of favour around then, did it?
Yeah, it sort of just.
I've got to say, I was probably changing. My daughter was 2 or 3, so I was doing the family thing at that point, and the Harpoon Blues Band had not quite done our thing down the seafront there. So I was just playing in a band for 3 times a year and just
fun and stuff.
Just taking a back seat for that while.
Yeah,
but it got a bit toxic.
Yeah, it just got a bit toxic, and I think that energy sort of didn't feed into the band. But we were sort of that's probably why we started pushing for gigs further afield.
Doesn't it? Trying
just
so
like, what's
hard?
the point after a while? It was like it's not going to happen. Let's just do what we do and try to take it elsewhere and stuff. And that's probably why we started pushing for gigs further afield.
Right. Okay. So so in the lack of any sort of scene happening around you, or the willingness of other people to join willingness to join for anyone else to join that scene, you thought, well, do you know what, I'm going to go play down Camden then. Yeah. Which is, let's face it, what else could you do?
Exactly. Yeah. Because if you're being pushed out by your own town, in a sense, you're like, do I live here now? Like, what's happening?
Apathy. I think apathy is the word. I mean, there's been quite a few people I put out a big shout out to anyone wants to come in and chat about the local scene. Yeah. Like, I don't know, and I start getting paranoid because I didn't have any replies. When I put that shout out the other day, I'd already booked you by that point. Yeah. And I thought, well, I could go around and PM everybody I want individually, which is what I want. I want everybody, and I want everyone to be involved and not make this not about me at all. I want to make this about our local scene,
I
so
love
we can talk about it.
Like I say, I've listened to every episode.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Really good.
I want to clear something up with you while we're there.
Go on.
On that first episode, and one of the sort of, I guess, not reasons that you're here, but thinking about, I made a comment, didn't I? I made a comment. No, this is absolutely, and you were absolutely right, and I really, really appreciated you called me out on it. To be honest, mate, it was the. I gained so much. So I already had a good respect for you as an artist anyway. But I gained so much respect for you as a human being that I'd said, and I'll shoot my mouth off because sometimes I'm still 18.
We all do.
And I sent around that time because you have the Indie Kid podcast.
Yeah.
Which is great and I love and I'm a fan of as well. And you were asking for tracks and I sent you some. But around that time I sent to about a dozen other podcasts. Some local, some further afield. Yeah. And I heard nothing from any of them. Any at all.
See, that is horrible.
And I said, I've sent this chap some tracks and he ain't played them and now he's 5 episodes in. But that applied to about a dozen people.
I was like, no, the thing is that you said that and I was listening, I was like, wait, how many episodes have I done so far? Because I've sort of like, I knocked it on the head for a bit while I'm doing this for a little bit and I'll get back to it eventually and stuff. Like, it's definitely not over. For anyone who's bothered about Indie Kid Records, it will happen. I've just got to manage my time properly. Do you know what I mean?
Indie Kid podcasts. Yeah. Look, mate, you've got stats on YouTube, isn't it?
YouTube,
Are you on
Spotify
other podcasts?
as well.
It's on the other podcast platforms. Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, when you said that, I was like, how many episodes am I in? Is that me? I hope it's not me.
It could apply to you. Is the issue. And I thank you for calling me out on it, and I apologise that if
that's fine, mate. That's fine.
But yeah, where were we before that? I've totally lost me through it. I totally interrupted.
Why we started pushing out and doing further things of the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I say, the scene at the time was just. I hate using the word non-existent, but it felt to us it wasn't
apathetic. I think is the word, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. And so yeah, we started pushing for things further afield. And then when I started The Only Route, that was the same goal. It was like, well, I've had this really bad experience with like round here and stuff. So let's do a bit round here, like what we have to do. Well, do you know what I mean? Like what we can do minimally, if that makes sense. And then
it's multi-causal, isn't it? Because like, there's apathy from I guess the other your fellow musicians and other bands. There's also like I think there's been a progression towards individuality in our society through social media anyway.
Big time.
And venues.
Yeah,
there's no fucking venues,
I literally
man.
sent you downstairs. I was like, I want to put a hometown show on the end of the tour, but I don't know where I'm going to do it.
Where are you going to put it on?
Yeah. So I have no idea. Like I might do it at the Seagull. To be fair, I get them
Karen's great.
Day,
you know, that one we put on for thingy ticket and stuff like that, and they just take a percentage.
Yeah.
But you know, lovely sound stage and stuff like that. They've even got the bar sorted out there and stuff.
Nice.
And I think they're closing for renovations later this year. That's just your luck, isn't it?
It's great.
I've got this idea for a bit. I'm going to play in that venue. Oh mate, they're knocking it down. Sorry, dude.
We're shut. Yeah.
Were you around for the brewery days?
I wasn't. I missed that.
Oh,
yeah,
mate,
I missed it. Yeah. I wish I was. Like, when we used to practice...
You'd have lapped that up.
When we used to practice down Cafe, Lloyd used to tell us loads of stories about like... It was
the place, mate.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, sawdust on the floor, back bar where you could get away with having a cheeky joint.
Yeah.
You know, home like ales that were brewed on the premises, or you know, well they were initially, but then he moved them out by their own ales and stuff like that. So they're original craft brewers, I guess, for any what do you call it, things out there. But just bands that were great, bands that sucked.
Yeah,
a lot of young men, young men and women cutting their teeth.
Yeah,
sucking royal arse.
Yeah.
You know, but going up there, and you could go down there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. You definitely see a band. You know, and I don't know many places I can walk into and just go. You know, tonight. Where can we go and see a band? Can we go? You know, what time is it? Could we go and see a band by 7 o'clock tonight in Lowestoft? Lady Lake, are they doing
Lady
bands?
Lake. I don't
See
know.
through 27 are playing down there in a couple in April, aren't they?
Yeah,
Which is great. I had Richard in there
yeah.
the other week. Yeah, lovely bloke, good band.
Yeah.
And good to see them still kicking on for 20 years.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, because I see Darren posting some of their stuff and that, because I completely didn't know they were like still doing anything until that, and I was like, oh right, they are still there. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's good. I love that. That's great.
Cool. So tell me about this Sam guy, your producer.
Yes.
If I say he's your producer, I'm assuming. So what's your process with writing songs? Because mine is since my solo stuff. Because it's easy with a band in a way, isn't it?
Yeah,
you book a studio for the weekends.
Yeah.
And so you go in there, drums, amps, guitars, whatever. You play for 2 days, you come out with an EP.
Yeah.
Or a single or whatever. Yeah, you come out with that, lovely. They mix it, they master it. These days, I sit in this room that we are in now, and I lay down, I create some drum tracks from a virtual drummer. Then I put some bass over it, maybe a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, maybe after I put my daughter to bed at 7:30 at night on the headphones.
Yeah.
And then about a month later, I might stick some guitar on there. I might nip up one dinner time to do a lead break when I'm working from home and stuff like that. So, what's yours like?
I'm pretty much the same, really. Like
you've got a home studio.
Yeah, I got a home studio at home. Like I'm lucky that I'm still living with mum and dad at the moment. Got like sort of 2 rooms. So I got like a bedroom and then like a back room, which is where all my studio stuff is. Well, I say studio, my demo gear and all that sort of stuff is. Yeah. So I'll sort of just demo everything that I've got. Like when I've at the moment, my weird habit is writing songs at 2 a.m. Okay. It's annoying because it's like I want to go to bed.
Electric guitar don't make any noise. I guess it's just the singing, isn't it? Mum and dad
so
stop playing that bloody music.
So I'll have my phone for the start and just press like record on voice memos, and I'll just be like mumbling like la la.
So do you have a DAW on your computer and stuff like that?
Yeah, I use Reaper. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Reaper. So Windows I am. I want to eventually go over to Mac at some point, but. Yeah,
it's the sensible choice.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Reassuringly expensive.
Yes, tell me about it. Oh, dude.
So you demo them up, or do you do actual hard recordings that then Sam masters for you?
Well, I demo everything. I used to do like the 2 singles that are up on Spotify, 10 out of 10 and whatever I please. I did that all at home during lockdown.
Wow.
And then just sent them to him. And
so you send him the individual streams.
Yeah.
So you exported each individual voice stems, and he mastered them. Mix them up and stuff for you.
Yeah, he mixed them.
So I've seen on social media was he replacing some of the drum sounds and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, what we do now, and because he's got like a little place, like a little studio sort of thing, he's got now. He's renting out, and he's sort of done all the control room and stuff. And we've just been working in there at the moment because live room still needs a little bit of work.
So he's in Lowestoft, is he?
Yeah, well, he's in. It's like down like Lound Way.
Okay.
If you go like before you get to the Hopton bit, there's like a turn off on the left. Yeah, it's down there. Like in this, right. There's like loads of like little businesses and stuff around there. It's really weird. You see builders knocking about, go wait, that sort of stuff. So and then there's just us in the studio going, "Hello, mate, how you doing? Just putting a guitar part down." Oh dear. But yeah, we're just in there at the moment, and like I say, we sort of all the drums are sort of MIDI to start with, and then it's just trying to make them sound more natural is like the hardest part. And like the other day we overdubbed all the cymbals and stuff just in there.
My first second solo album I did with a drummer, but it was samples, so it was acoustic samples. This guy had recorded like hit, or sequences, and I bought a CD's worth off of eBay from him. This guy called Nathan Luger, and he said, I played all the live drums. These are all sequences and stuff like that. They cut in different times. So I bought this CD's worth that he then sent in a post, and I cut.
Cut them all up.
Carved them all up and made them into the drum sounds that are on Invisible Prison. So there's a couple of timing issues. If anyone spots it, please let me know.
Yeah, let me know, yeah. Oh, dear.
But, you'd be hard pushed to spot them. But, it sounds really authentic.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, me and Sam have a really good friendship anyway. And
sounds like it's been going a while now.
Yeah, because we've got a good friendship, the good working relationship comes really natural and stuff. Like, it's really laid back and stuff. Like, I said to him the other day, like, with him is the most comfortable I've ever felt doing vocals.
Right, yeah.
Because vocals, for me... Because, like I say, I'm not really a singer. Do you know what I mean? I just
so you're still having self-confidence issues over that after all these years?
It's weird because when I gig, I don't care.
Yeah,
I just give it the big one. Like, I've had a drink, you know what I mean? I've had a couple of pints. I'm
That's
up there.
the way to go then. Live recordings.
Yeah, just giving it the big one, and everyone's like, "Oh, you sound great."
Set up a stage in his studio or
Probably
something.
Probably should do that. Yeah, just do it all live. Yeah.
You were playing to Norwich last night, so it shouldn't be an issue really.
Yeah, like I say, like going on tour with like random people and stuff. I don't care about any of that.
Is it the red light fever? Of the recording studio,
probably. Everything
under the microscope, everything's amplified, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
You can hear the breath in your headphones, can't you? You're like,
if I go, oh dear. But yeah, like with instruments and stuff, straight away record. Boom, boom,
so
boom.
Do you play the bass?
Yeah,
guitar,
guitar,
wow.
acoustic. Like I say, he's the only one who does the drums, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't play drums to save my life. I've tried.
But you do MIDI on the demo.
Yeah,
and then
MIDI on the demo. Then we like adapt it because I only use like loops to start with, just to easily put a drum track in and then build it up.
Which is better than playing to a bloody click track, isn't it?
It is. Like the other day, what was I doing the other day?
Because you stop hearing it, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you like realise that you're concentrating on trying to hear it, and you've stopped playing like you should.
I was doing like because I'm trying to do some like acoustic stuff to bring out. So all the tracks we do is like full band. Yeah. So I was just like at home the other day. I was like, let's just try and record some acoustic stuff.
I like the full band stuff.
Yeah,
though,
just
mate.
to like whack it out on YouTube and just say, like here's some acoustic versions of either my songs or like covers or whatever. And I was playing to a click, and like you say, I was just like, where's the click gone? I don't know what I'm doing.
Am I out of time? What's going on?
And then you hear like the louder click for the one or whatever, and it's like. And I'm like, crap, I'm on the third here, like, what am I doing? I get that, exactly.
With the virtual drummer in GarageBand on the Mac, I just lay down, like you say, a looped drum track. Yeah. And then go back and refine it afterwards. There's a feature in that, right? I don't know how much you know about this GarageBand in particular, but there's a feature there where there's an arrangement track. So once I've laid down to my loopy drum track, once I've laid down my intro, verse, chorus, whatever it is, mostly just two parts being me, intro, outro.
Same for me.
There's an arrangement track where you can just like draw or select a part and go, right, that's the intro. Those 8 bars are intro. Next 8 bars are verse, stuff like that. And then if you delete the drum track completely and put a new virtual drummer in, it will jam and change.
That's crazy.
I'll have to show you one day, mate. It's absolutely fascinating because it makes some really great choices sometimes. Especially if you put in a pre-chorus and you mark it all up, it'll start building up to them and stuff like that.
That's cool.
It is really, really good. Or mellow it down for an outro and stuff like that. Build up to a chorus.
See, that's just like who needs a drummer anymore?
Well, with the sounds on this thing as well, like and like I say, this is my second album was with samples, but this one's all with virtual drummer that I programmed. And then you can tweak that individually. So you can select like the chorus part.
Yeah.
And then go, I need more fills, or I need more hi-hat, or I need more thing. But
Yeah,
then
I've
on
seen
from
that. Yeah.
Paul Johnson from Club Iniquity.
I've not played there. No, I've been there for gigs, but I've never played
He's starting up in March. Hit him up, mate.
I will do.
Hit him up, tell him I sent you, because he'd love to have you go down there. I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying that, he might not.
He goes, he's shit, Paul, what are you on about?
I'm not listening to anything you tell me again. He said that if you create a MIDI track and then drag it into there, it turns into MIDI, so then you can really
get into it. Yeah,
really manipulate it.
That's great. Like the demo I put out, perhaps when I didn't know whether I was going to do music again or whatever. Robbie Hodgie helped me put that out.
So whoa, hang on there. You really thought you weren't going to do music at all?
I didn't, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I've been there, mate. Loads and loads. I mean, I've been doing music for 34 years. I'm 45 now, nearly 46. So 35 years nearly, and. There's times where I didn't play at all. Yeah. You know, it's when my first kid came along, when Oscar came along 18 years ago. Yeah. I wasn't doing bands, weren't playing any music at all, and that went on for about 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And then, like I say, Harpoon Blues Band for 15 years, and then I just there's times, and just before Christmas actually, like November time, I went, I'm out.
Did you?
Yeah,
bloody hell.
I'm done.
That was such a shame.
Bless you. I mean, Danny and I had a demo recorded together, an EP recorded together, which we haven't released.
Cafe Studios EP?
No, we've got one past that. We've got another one which we haven't released.
Yeah.
And I had 20 songs towards what I was going to either do a double gatefold, a double album, or a whole instrumental album, and then a whole vocal album. Yeah. And then just went, no, I can't. I'm not done. I'm done.
Drop tools.
I'm done.
What triggered that?
Just like the exhaustion of having to be all those things.
Yeah.
That we discussed
7
earlier.
people at once.
Yeah. Is that what gets to you?
Yeah, I mean,
along with the apathy.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Like when T.O.R. finished and stuff, I said to myself, I'll have a break anyway. So I was like, right, I need to process everything. Because I've just gone from one thing to another, and I just ended up having like a year or 2 off. Just didn't pick the guitar up really. Right. Picked it up like once maybe, and just played like I say, like some Arctic Monkeys, reminisce the old times sort of thing, and then go, not
see, you're young enough to not do anything for a year or 2, whereas I feel like I'm running out of time.
Well, it was that, and the fact like I'm quite not as much now. I'm quite into gaming and stuff. Okay. And during that time, I started Twitch streaming.
Oh wow!
And that started going huge then.
Really
well.
That was huge.
And I started making lots of money from it and stuff, and it was a monthly thing. And I was like, right, I can take this somewhere. Yeah. And then I don't know what happened. I think it was, to be fair, Holly, my missus, give her a massive shout out. Absolute saviour.
I was expecting to see her today.
Yeah, she's just gone to the shop, mate.
You just got out of that, didn't you?
I was like,
you want to go shopping? Yeah. Oh, you want to do that? Yeah, no, bless you. I do want you to come in, but I do want to go shopping with you on sleeves.
Dear. So, yeah. She, bless her, I think she could tell that I was sort of, with the gaming and stuff, you're in your bedroom all the time, right? And you're not going out because the whole world is around the computer, and you're always analysing analytics and stuff, like we do with music, really. Like, there's no difference apart from I have to go out on a Saturday and play a gig sometimes. You know what I mean? But I think she sort of started to notice like you really need to start writing songs, because I think in me as well, I started to get a little bit like itchy feet, moaning about things I shouldn't be moaning about and stuff, and it's because I didn't have anywhere to channel it. You know what I mean?
I lost my confidence completely in songwriting, so I didn't write any songs between the ages of about 21 up until about 40. I didn't write a song at all. It just that experience with the band Nexus actually killed that for me. Yeah, because we had, and I've discussed it on other podcasts, about we had a very organic way of songwriting. Someone would have a chord, someone would have a riff, someone would have a drum pattern, and just all come together, cobbled together 8 minutes worth of patchwork quilt of a song that each verse and chorus bore no relation to the last one. Yeah. And my opinions were I felt they might not have been. Perhaps it was just me being paranoid. We did smoke a lot of weed. Yeah. A lot of weed. Shit, we smoked a lot of weed. Oh dear. It was just destroyed my confidence in it completely, and I thought I can't write songs. And there was also, around that time, so many good bands around.
That's
so
the thing,
many good songs in it. Yeah, you know. And I think in this time's a good time to be in a band, because they just kind of aren't.
It's fate. It's weird because. Like people, your
mate Liam's got a new single out with Richard Ashcroft. I'm so pleased Richard Ashcroft's coming.
Richard Ashcroft, oh mate,
legend,
absolute saviour,
love
that
him.
Man.
We love him. We agree on that.
We do, big time.
So we're glad that them boys
are like, because Oh, when was it?
It's a lonely old furrow, though, isn't it? They're ploughing there.
Yeah,
There's
I
not
think
a lot of bands
so.
about, is there?
Like,
or am I just not on the scene? Am I just not getting it?
In like the indie rock scene, there's like guitar bands. Like there's a band called Yard Act who've just got their debut album number 2 in the charts, which is mental.
Right.
I was like, bloody hell! And then the Wombats are still
behind
going.
Adele.
Yeah, behind like I think it was behind. I think it was Adele actually. Yeah. And then there's like the Snuts. They're a great like guitar band coming up.
That name,
great band. Who else? I'm trying to think now off the top of my head. There's loads. I'll show you my Spotify. I'll send you some. But there is loads.
Well, you
but
know what I mean. Compared to the '90s, late '90s, where you had your Blur, your Oasis, Elastica, Republica,
everyone.
Catatonia. It just went on and on and on. Space.
Yeah, we really are still in that post Oasis 90s Britpop rock, whatever you want to call it, era. I think I think that's carried on for so long. Like you get we had the Strokes for a little bit. They sort of revived it again. Like say Arctic Monkeys helped revive it again.
Doves
they're still
Doves
a little bit. Doves were great. They're still I think are they getting back together for a
think they're doing it. I think I heard them on the Live Lounge the other day doing a song or something.
Nice. They must be coming back then. Yeah, because they took a big break and stuff, didn't they? So But yeah, like you say,
Kasabian and those boys. But that was early noughties. So which is 20 years ago.
20 years ago. That's mad, isn't it? And they're all the bands I still listen to now. So, like
because there's no new ones coming along.
Not big enough to take
the
threshold sort of thing and be like, we are the guitar band. There's nothing like that really. There's ones that like I say go in the charts every now and again.
Is it a shame Coldplay quitting?
Not really. Did you hear what Liam Gallagher said about them the other day?
No, what did he say?
Because they got nominated for Best Rock / Alternative Act of the Brits.
Sake.
And Liam was like, well, they're not rock, are they? I mean, I'm not having that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? They're a very clever, very good band. I do have a slight issue with a band that need a 5th member as a musical director. You smirking? We agree on that as well then. I do take umbrage with that, my prejudice towards public school children also to one side, which I know some great people who went to public school. Unfortunately, Coldplay aren't it.
No.
They also they just rag out of a bit of a privilege, and their songs are good.
Yeah.
And band Nexus were actually tipped to support them at Fat Paulies, which was the club in Anglia Square in Norwich, and then they had Yellow came out and were too big to play there, so he didn't.
God,
so then, that's around the same time that we broke up as well, 99 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see what is so legendary about them being compared to U2. I mean, come on.
That's a joke.
They're not pimple on U2's arse.
It's a joke,
I just don't get a hype.
No, I don't. I think, like you say, going back to cleverness, I think Chris Martin's a clever songwriter. Just because of the fact they've adapted through the waves. Like, if you listen to their back catalogue, they had their rock, Britpoppy phase, then they've gone pop, and then they've gone a little bit electro in there somewhere, and then now it's just like mainstream for me.
As a musician, it's so difficult. It's such a minefield to not want to say or slag a band off, and like we just have.
We just
not
have.
so many words. And
I don't mind Coldplay.
I get accused of being bitter.
Yeah.
They made money. They're popular.
Yeah.
Well, that was never. Although at times that would have been lovely.
Yeah.
And like we were discussing on the last podcast about, it would be great to have a hit song.
Of course it would.
So that I can make some money and do whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. Mate,
that would be lovely to not have to worry.
To not have to worry about
have to get up for the factory job and all that shit that we do day in and out, and give up our day jobs, which is all this is all about. Of course, that would be lovely to have that. But at the same time, I would dearly like, and perhaps that's why I'm not getting anywhere, I would dearly like to be known for something that I'm truly proud of and that I really like.
Definitely.
And perhaps they are, but I don't get it. Perhaps it's not aimed at me.
No,
perhaps I'm not the target demographic.
This is the thing. I was listening to something the other day. I can't remember what it was now, but they were saying like, maybe because they I think it's like I don't know, it's like a YouTube clip I saw, and I think they've got a podcast. I have to try and find out what it is. But they critique bands and like artists who are in the spotlight.
Okay.
And they say maybe this is just not our demographic. Maybe it's just not aimed at me because I don't get it.
Yeah, I watch Rick Beato.
Yeah,
and he does that kind of thing. And he went through the Grammy nominees and stuff like that. He went, a mere 11 songwriters on that one, and stuff like that. And then he'll go, well, it's not my cup of tea. You tell he's trying not to smirk a little bit at some of it, but others, then he says, well, there's so much auto-tune on that, it would be nice if they just didn't do that. It's still a nice song, blah, blah, blah. So he's always very, objective about these things. But those places are interesting. It's tough to wade through YouTube to find something that isn't just trying to get likes and hits, isn't it?
Definitely. I think that's a lot of the culture, though, nowadays. Like, everyone's like Ricky Gervais has got it nailed with a line he said in one of his stand-up shows. Like, people want to be famous for the wrong reasons now.
Absolutely.
Don't want to be famous for something they're proud of or being famous. They want to be famous because they, I don't know, like recently, like Kurt Zouma, the football player, kicking a cat. Like, what's the point?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Know,
but it spurs a big thing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
John Peach was in it saying, there's people lighting their farts on fire gets more likes and hits than him learning to play guitar and playing and writing a song that takes 30 years worth of effort.
I think a lot of that stems from maybe, like, I don't get me wrong, I love Jackass and that's quality and it's funny, but it probably does spur from that, and like, you've been framed and all that sort of stuff. Like, everyone's like, well, if I kick someone or I do something fucking stupid and run into a wall fall, I can get on the news or something.
It just reminds me, actually, in our conversation when I said about, that we had that led up to you coming on here, was about, about the amount of rejections I'd gotten, and literally, mate, back in the day, Nexus, I sent out 200 CDs, and we got 50 rejection letters.
That's crazy.
That I still have somewhere.
And you have to dig them out and give them a read. That'd be quality.
Yeah, if someone took the time to tell their secretary to this box, no.
That's crazy, isn't it? You got to write loads of letters out.
Stick the band name in there, and then stick that out there.
Yeah.
But I think some good old fashioned rejection might be a good thing, because it seems like modern rejection is very cutting.
Yeah.
And it's easy to criticise, and it's easy, like we just have for Coldplay. I'm sure they're crying into their beer over that.
It's like, maybe we should carry on, man.
Oh, God, Paul and Ryan don't like us.
Last 20 years has been a lie.
Just as they dry their tears with their £50 notes, if they weren't made of polymer. But some good, honest, constructive, not necessarily your shit, don't give up your day job, which is something, why I call this podcast, I've been sold so many times in my life. And I haven't given up my day job because my kids needed to eat, and also I need somewhere to live, which is unfortunate.
Comes first and foremost,
But it doesn't mean to say that there hasn't been a struggle and there hasn't been some sort of a starving artist thing to what I'm doing. And let's face it, don't we fucking love an underdog story?
We do, don't we?
Absolutely.
Like I said, I've mentioned them so many times. I mentioned them again. That's why Oasis relate to so many people. Do you know what I mean? Because they were the cancer state kids in Manchester.
At the time thinking, well, if they can do it to get off the dole,
anyone
fucking so can I.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Well, inspirational.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. And like, well, I've mentioned Arctic Monkeys before. They were just 4 lads from Sheffield who got guitars and stuff for Christmas and liked the Strokes, and they went, right, let's write some songs.
But they also didn't just write any old shit.
No.
And although the songs might not be technically perfect, they still had the heart and the bollocks in it to do that kind of thing. Whereas I think the celebrity culture that we're comparing this to, in a way, is almost like famous for making no effort whatsoever.
Exactly.
Being drunk, falling about, getting your tits out on TV is not really a talent, is it? Let's face it. You don't have to work too hard.
Not really. We can all do that.
Well,
we're just not pretty enough to do it, mate.
If I eat some more pies, any more pies, I might be able to get the boobs out. I have to watch the beers.
Watch the beers,
especially with my middle-aged spread coming along nicely.
Oh, dear.
But so what's next for Mr. Ryan Redwood then? What are the plans, buddy? Because I know you're working on singles and EP. Yeah. Do you do albums in your
I want to do an album at some
like
point, definitely. But like you say, I think at the moment the way music's consumed, it's very hard to put an album out there and try get people like my age to listen to the full thing.
It just gets eaten. It just gets swallowed up.
Yeah, like say, singles at the moment is the way to go for me at the moment. I want to try get at least 8 out before the end of the year, and that's like very minimum. Like me and Sam at the moment, like we've just wrapped one up that should be out by the end of the month. Yeah, and we're just gonna keep going.
The genre I'm in with blues and blues rock is they want an album or they're not listening. You send stuff out to radio stations. When I first started recording at home, I sent out one track thinking, I'll do a little lead single, and if they get a taster, then when we recorded the album, we put out like the guitarist from Hopping Blues Band, we did a little acoustic album, and I got like a dozen emails back saying, we don't do singles, send us an album. So it's like
that's the complete opposite for me. Now,
So it might be genre. It might be genre.
Might be a genre thing,
but it was also 5 years ago, and things change.
Yeah.
So was there any sort of and what we're going to carry? Obviously you've got some dates and tours planned for the tour planned as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Start of April, like I say, Manchester, Sheffield, Skegness, back to Norwich, and then hopefully a hometown show.
Cool. Well, I'll put a link to your website or social, whatever it is, in the thing for this particular podcast. But yeah, and you're talking about a hometown show as well. If we can
find a venue, mate,
Danny and I will play with you, mate. 100%. We'll do it,
like I said, I was going to ask you guys anyway. To be fair,
awesome.
I'm going to get you guys, like I say, try and make it like a celebration of local music as well as obviously cap off the tour.
Yeah, well, my friend
Pete, a good way to do it.
Was talking about down at the Ness.
Yeah,
you've been down there because they've got that thing that looks like a little stage and it's facing the seawall, and he has a real. I won't give too much away.
Of course,
there's a battery PA involved, and there's a van involved, and there's something. Yeah. So we've been talking about, it, and so if, you know, and I want to get, you know, we want to get as many, like you say. Let's start creating a scene.
Get the scene going again, mate.
With these as well.
Yeah, because like you say,
get people talking.
Yeah, get people talking to each other. Yeah. As well, like I say, what you're doing with the podcast is great because it's actually bringing people in to have a conversation. Whereas sometimes we can be, and it's like everybody, we can just sort of just ignore each other a little bit.
Yeah,
and
I think so, and sort of make assumptions. I mean, there's one particular local musician, and I thought they're right up their arse, not you.
No, and it was you, right?
No, it was someone I've known for way longer than you, and I'd crossed on the scene over the years many times. We'd been on the same bill. Yeah. I'd been like, you know, hiya, and they've ignored me, and I've pretended to scratch my head because I wasn't waving. Yeah. And it turned out that they were just really shy. Yeah. And they just didn't like the whole band thing, and they've been around a few times since, and they're wonderful. Yeah. And talking and exchanging ideas. Yeah. And there's talk us recording together and stuff, and it's great to finally get to know the real person.
The real person.
As opposed to what I'd projected.
Yeah. Because we're all guilty of it.
That might be what we're doing.
Yeah,
because we
always
that we're slitting each other's throats for these gigs and egos. Yeah. When actually,
we're all the same for reason.
Well, yeah, because there's something deeply insecure about, you know, being a musician and being someone that wants to get up on a stage for validation.
Definitely, yeah, 100%, 100%. Like you say, it's a good point. Like when you write a song and stuff and you go out and perform it, you sort of feel like you do have to back yourself up a little bit. You know what I mean? And like not protect yourself, but sort of have your little barrier up a little bit,
which you haven't got with a band. Yeah, which reminds me, actually, mate, I want to ask you one last thing before we part wonderful ways. Yeah. You know, unless you want to go for a pint, I'm up for a pint. But, always. I saw you advertising for bandmates. Yeah. Are you leaning back towards the band then?
See, the thing is,
and is it going to be? Because I had this discussion the other day. Is it going to be a dictatorship where you say these are my songs, you shall play in the nicest possible way? Dictatorship. Yeah, not like, you know, stop that, stop that. You gas chamber. You know, none of that kind of crap. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Is it going to be like these are my songs? Yeah. Let's play them, or less than the organic thing that you used to do. So are you still thinking about that?
It will be organic.
Have you had many takers? Because I saw an advert.
I've had a few conversations with a few people. Like Sam will be the drummer, straight up. He's already said, "I'll drum, mate, no worries." Yep. I've been in conversation with a bass player and a few guitarists and stuff. Cool. I mean, it's just I want it to be, because it will be my name on the package at the end of the day. Yeah. So it will be sort of, these are my songs, but I'd like them to get involved in the recording process. They want to come up to the studio and say, "Oh, Ryan, I don't like that bit. If I'm going to play it, I'd like it to be a bit like this." Then that's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's trying to explain that to people as well as, because it's like,
because what you could do is like, and I've heard this from some of the bigger bands as well. You know, as well, like the Who got into it in very sort of later stages of what they were doing, where Pete Townsend would take full demos. Yeah. Full band demos to the band and say, "Learn this song." Yeah. And with what you've got and the equipment that you have and the talents that be able to play the other things and program them, obviously Sam was playing the drums anyway. Yeah. You could take this to bass player and guitarist and be like, keyboard player,
just
and go,
learn it.
Learn that, mate. Yeah. Gigs next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Gigs in 6 weeks. Lovely jubbly, couldn't you?
Yeah, could do, but I don't know. That sort of thing, as much as, like I say, my name's on the package and stuff, and it probably would make sense. I don't feel comfortable with that. No. I'd rather work as a collective in some way, like whether that's given the more a responsibility. Like, say if they found a gig somewhere and they said, "Ryan, do you want to do this?" I'd be like, "Yeah, no worries." So I mean, little things and stuff.
It also, speaking as a musician that, you know, also plays guitar and stuff like that, and harmonica, and being enough depth for any number of people, that also sounds to me as a depth musician, like something that would be a gift compared to the amount of involvement I've had to be with A&R, a number of bands. I mean, with the Harpoon Blues Band there, I was a complete driver. The gig getter, the social media guy.
Everything.
It'd be lovely.
Yeah.
And I was in the Jamison Samafi Band for a while, and that was a really lovely experience. Not only were they lovely guys, and we had a good choice. It was mostly cover songs, and Jamos's excellent song, original numbers mixed in there.
He's got about 1,000 songs.
And I need to. I'm trying to get him in the studio. He works weekends, so it's a bit of a bummer at the moment. And but it was lovely just to turn up and play harmonica.
Yeah,
it was lovely just to
do your thing. Yeah,
I'm not worried.
Take a break. Yeah.
Nice.
Sort of sit back.
So
and
these are the kind of guys that you're looking for, and it's finding a good fit, right?
Yeah, finding a good fit, finding people who are just interested in the same thing, really, and readily available. I think is the key thing.
Yeah,
because it's it's all well and good getting like I said to Sam the other day, if we find an amazing guitarist, that's brilliant. But if he's not committed, then there's no point. No. I'd rather have someone who's rough around the edges, more like us, who's willing to go on tour for a week or do whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd rather that.
Personality rather than talent.
Yeah, definitely,
Chris was talking about this. Chris Garrett's talking about this. He'd rather play with, because we've all been in bands with people who are exceptional.
Yeah.
But a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
And a bit hard work to get hold of.
I've been there.
And a bit kind of I can only do the third Sunday of every week and stuff like that. Or they're in 10 bands.
Yeah,
so that's the other thing about being a casual musician, isn't it? Especially rarities like drummers and bass players, because good ones are really hard to find. Hang on to that Sam fella for all your life, mate.
Don't worry.
Because good drummers are really bloody hard to find. My mate Andy's a cracker, so I'm so glad I know him. But they're in 10 bands. Yeah. Keyboard players are in 10 bands. And they play weddings and bar mitzvahs and everything else in between and stuff like that. And getting a commitment for them to go, mate, we're playing in Camden next Sunday. Yeah. Sorry, mate, I've got a wedding. I've got a wedding for £750.
That's another thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course you're going to take that,
Of course you are, 100%. Yeah, cause we'd do it. I'll do it. Do you know what I mean?
I'll do anything at a frigging wedding for £750.
So, like I say, hopefully at some stage a band, but at the moment...
Not in a big rush?
Not in a big rush, mate. The gigs seem to be going really well with just me and the guitar and that. So, and like I say to anyone who books me, don't think you're booking me and I'm just not your typical acoustic artist, but some acoustic artists can be a little bit mellow and stuff I do like to get people going and bounce a little bit.
There was people dancing in the old photos from last night's gig,
mate. Last night I had my cousin putting people on his shoulders and all sorts last night. I was like, oh my God.
His cousin's for hire. Rent a crowd.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing, mate?
You'll get me thrown out. I want to get booked again.
Yeah, I'll come back. You know what I mean? But they're the best sort of gigs, as you know, just and all that sort of stuff. And I like giving a bit of banter and that, because people love that. If you talk to someone, that will make their night. After you've done that.
Do you know what? I have this conversation with a few bods, especially because I've been performing live for a long while, so you kind of get to know to a point. I mean, my mouth has run free, but there are certain things that I would that are total no-nos. Anything really truly offensive, because you're not a stand-up comedian, and I've not come for a stand-up comedy night, and I've tried things like that and fallen completely on my arse.
Yeah.
And the main one is don't apologise.
No,
a lot of new musicians seem to do this. Oh, this is one we haven't had too many run-throughs of this one, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. It might not be very good, so bear with us.
Yeah.
Don't apologise, man.
This is
That's how I meant it to be. I meant it to stop in the middle and start again at a different pace.
And all of us look very confused at each other. We did that in rehearsal, so it's all right. We meant that.
That's how it is.
That's part of the act. Yeah. Yeah, like you say, you got to stick by your guns and be confident with it, haven't you? No matter what you're doing.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, why will you get up there? Never apologise. Is my main one.
Big time.
But that's about it. But look, Ryan, thanks ever so much for coming over.
Thank you for having me,
really,
mate.
really appreciate it, man.
Anytime.
And best of luck with all the projects, and hopefully we can be on a bill together very soon.
Yes, mate, definitely.
All right.
Thank you very much for having me.
No worries.
I appreciate it.
Cheers, Ryan Redwood.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.